Hippie's Common Sense Corner with this one of this week's uploads called, I guess I'm going to call it answering some emails. And today is Monday, April 26th. I know I said on the last upload I was going to wait a little while to answer the emails. I wanted some more, but I got a couple of interesting ones through my Vegas World account. I'm just trying to think which one I want to start with. Okay. Yeah. The first one I want to start with is, I mentioned to you people I drove truck for many years, okay? I got an email from somebody from a trucking company I applied for back, I believe, in 2018. And the guy that owns the company, I'm not going to give any names, I'm not even going to give the name who sent the email with the question or the remark, okay? But the company was here in Wisconsin, and it was a reefer company. And the owner of the company, the father, is a great guy. I have no problem with the father. Okay. But his son gave me a road test, and it was going good until he found out a part of my life that's pretty rough. And then the punk just started screaming. And you know, and to top it all off, I did tell him that I had a godson that was in the hospital. He was in a real bad car accident. Actually, two of them, because one happened that night. Well, apparently, you know, me and this kid are talking, and I was telling him about part of my life back when I was in the back alley fight circuit, okay? And back when I rode motorcycle. And apparently he must not have liked it, and I can, now that I thought about it, about 3 days after this, I put it together. It's probably because there's a lot of bikers that probably applied there, and they won't put up with this big fucking mouth, okay? But we get back and we pull in the yard and he goes, put the trailer on, you know, parking the hole on the left of this other trailer. So I did, but all of a sudden he goes, the other side, you know, because, you know, like when you're in the car, the left side is the driver's side, okay? And I've owned junkyards and all that, you know, and in-house junkyards, you know, and fucked with cars all the time, and I've been driving truck I'm a third generation truck driver. And so I've been around semi talk for many years. I had a couple of in-house junkyards, you know, or used auto parts stores. And you know, and everything's referred to left and right, okay? And he just starts fucking screaming, and then top it all off, okay, I get done, I'm done for the day, I go home, because I only lived maybe a 40-minute ride from my house. And next day, I was supposed to be there like at 7, 8 o'clock. Well, I had another kid that's not my godson or my nephew, but I've known his father since we were in like probably the 7th grade. I was at the hospital the day he was born. Okay, he was raised calling me uncle. Okay, and that night he was in an accident. So I called the office. I said, I'll be in today for the last part of my training, for the orientation. But I had to run up to northern Wisconsin to make sure this kid was okay. Because the father has already passed. And this kid's mother lost her husband back in 15. Actually, no, she lost a daughter in 13, her husband in 15. She lost a sister in 16, and then could have lost her, at that point it looked like she was going to lose her son, but it was here and there. Okay. Sorry about that, but I'm getting really pissed here now. But I turned around and told him I'll be about 20 minutes late, and I think I was actually like 3 minutes early. I walk in, the guy giving me the orientation is giving me a 3rd degree, giving me an attitude. And I already told him I did not sleep. And then the dad comes in because the kid was a fucking big mouth coward that couldn't tell me the day before. Because if he would have told me that, I would have just stayed the fuck up north, like I was going to. But I started something, I was finishing it. And okay. He goes, he wants me to do another road test. I said, you know what? Nah. Fuck it, because I know his kid spit in his ear, so I'm not wasting his time, and I should have fucking wasted my time. Well, so I left. I left it alone. Now, I got an email through my VW account from someone that either works at that company, like in dispatch or billing or something, or somebody that knows somebody that works there, asking me why did I lie about my experience. Because even that day, the owner, the father, said, oh, with your experience, you shouldn't have had that problem. Yeah, he was right. But, this kid didn't like me from day one because I told him, because I was going to give up my house. Me and my wife and my 2 cats were going to move into the truck. Okay? And he didn't like that idea. Anything I said he didn't like. But this email I got actually this came, I think on last week, Tuesday. Because I just wrote, I don't have a printer for, this laptop, so I handwrite them. But, and I forgot to put the date on this one. But I believe it was last week, Tuesday. And this person said, asked, why did I lie about my experience? Well, I'll tell you what. 1, I did not lie. 2, I told told everybody about my actual godson. And actually, his father, that's the one that came on that night. But the one before was the one I knew from 7th grade. This one here, his mom and dad and my mom and dad lived across the hall from each other when both mothers were carrying us, okay? And we've been friends ever since. We had the same first name, same middle name. Only thing different is our birth date and our last name, okay? When I was born, I was 9 pounds 10 ounces. When he was born, he was 9 pounds 9 ounces. But anyways, you know, so when I heard the day before, the day of the test, or that, you know, the night before, and I woke up, I went into the orientation. The first day, I think I did the road, whatever, the night before I did the road test is when I got the call. When I walked in, I told the guy giving the orientation about it. You know, I even offered to bow out and say, let me go, you know, come back or whatever. It was up to them. Oh, no, you'll be fine. Okay, that's fine. You know, and I'm not bitching about that. What I'm bitching about is because this kid didn't like how my past was, knowing that I was already fucked up in the head, because this is the one that was actually my godson. You know, so, you know, I mean, me and his father, basically, because I was born in May of '68, he was born in January of '69. Okay. So, you know, basically we were the same age, you know. And when our mothers, you know, because this was in the '60s, our dads would work. The mothers lived across the hall, they'd do their coffee collection. Even as infants, they put us in the same crib together to, I don't know, probably baby talk or something, I don't know. But regardless. And, but what else is pissing me off is one I did not like, because when I started driving truck back in, well, I started driving local at like 17 because my boss took responsibility for me because I had what they called a chauffeur's license back then. Okay, and then when I turned 18, I took you know, I did that till I was 21. On my 21st birthday, my boss sent me out over the road. He put me in a cab over. Okay. But I'd like to know who has the right to challenge anybody's experience, okay? You know, so, you know, and like I said, this kid was very dear to me, okay? Both kids were, but this one was even more like blood than the second one. The second one lived, the first one died about 4 days later. And don't, the owner was right. With my experience, I should have been able to override that. But I'll tell you what. Sorry, let me fix this. But I'll tell you what, back in 91 when I made parole, and that's another thing he had problems with, that I was in and out of jail and prison and all that crap. But, well, to each his own, I guess. The kid might be a good mechanic, but that's about all he may be, okay? Because if you ask me, he wasn't much of a fucking man, because he could have told me that day. Alright, but I remember back in 91, I got out on parole, and then I was with this girl of mine, a girlfriend of mine who I was engaged to, and it didn't take long. After we got engaged, she got pregnant. And I was driving truck, and I even asked because she was probably about 7 months pregnant, I believe, at the time. And we knew she was having problems, so I asked my boss to keep me kind of local, where I ran like Chicago, all around Wisconsin, Chicago, somewhere where I could be back. If I left at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I could be back home. It was easier to lie on your logbooks back then too, but I could have been home by 10, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. And you did your logbooks different. You ran out of time, you could crawl in your bunk for a few hours and get some hours back too. So, and I'd run to Detroit, because I leave Detroit one day, get there that evening, either unload or shut down at Truck City in Dearborn, wake up the next morning, get unloaded, reloaded, come back, okay? Or maybe even Columbus, Ohio, because even now I can make it from 13. If anybody watching this that knows Milwaukee, and hopefully kind of know where a little bit about Ohio, I can make it from 13th in College to Columbus, Ohio, or London, Ohio, which is 20 miles before Columbus, on I-70, in 8.5 hours. Okay, and I was hauling cars with the last company I worked for. So I'd leave here, and I called the car dealership. They wouldn't let me do an after-hour drop or pickup. So I just shot down there, went to the TA in London, Ohio. I shut down for the night, woke up the next morning, jumped over to Columbus, dropped my cars off at the auction. I picked up a car from Columbus, and then I had cars to pick up and drop off all the way back to Milwaukee, okay? But even back then, I could do Columbus, crash the night, come back, and or like for it to go from Milwaukee to St. Paul, to the cities up in Minnesota. I don't know how many times when I was hauling cars, I'd get stopped at the scale just as you come into Minnesota. And once in a while, before I left Wisconsin, would happen, but usually it was after I left Wisconsin when I hit the scale in Minnesota, where the scale master would say, I know your line on your logbook, and and you're doing something wrong. And I said, how's that? He said, because your logbook says you made it from Milwaukee to the cities and back to Milwaukee in 11 hours. Well, if you figure out the mileage, I don't remember it now because it's been a few years, but if you do 60 miles an hour or 65, you can make it from Milwaukee to St. Paul in 5.5 hours. Well, if you can go up there 5.5, you can come back in 5.5. 5.5 is 5 and 5 is 10. The half is 11. We were allowed to drive 11 hours a day. There you go. But like he said, with traffic and stopping, it's impossible. But according to the mileage, the way the crow flies, it's legal. So they had to leave me alone. Okay. So on this one day, I was coming back, the day before I went up to Minnesota when I was working for this company called Pat's Trucking. And I can't remember, because we hauled everything there. I think I might have been hauling cars then too. It was either cars or cattle. It wasn't a dry van or reefer. And I doubt it was even a flatbed, so it had to be cars or cattle, livestock. And I get up there, I drop my car, I'm coming back through. But when I got up there, I called dispatch. They said, yeah, go here. They had something. I had to drop off whatever trailer I had. I remember that. Then I picked up a dry van. Full of I want to say it was liquor or something. It was something because it was in it was either a government or something like liquor or cigarettes because it was in a secure lot. Well, I said that's great. Because I had paperwork from my other runs, loads, that when I left St. Paul on my way to Wisconsin, I stopped over in Ixonia, dropped off my paperwork. When I walked in to give them the paperwork, they told me, go and drop your trailer, find a hole, park your truck, get your ass on your bike and go to the hospital. I said, why? And they said, your fiance was rushed to the hospital. So I fly to the hospital from Ixonia to Milwaukee. Was, if you did the speed limit, I believe it's like back then it was like a 35 minute trip. On my motorcycle, I think I did it it was like, because I know you can make it from Milwaukee to Watertown in about an hour. So Ixonia was probably a 45-minute trip, 35 to 45 minute. I'm not kidding you, I probably made it in like 25 minutes. I get there. Now remind you, in 91, I was 23 years old. I just been in prison basically from about a month before my 18th birthday, which would have been April of '86. And I made parole like a year and a half later. I got out, I fucked up, I went back in. Then I got parole again. So I'm 20, I spent like 5 years, probably a good 3 2/3 to 4 1/3 years locked up. Top it all off, I'm 23 years old, I'm a truck driver. I busted my ass that week. I remember it was a Friday, because I was going to do Chicago. I was going to lie on my logbook, get back that night about maybe around midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I'd been off for the weekend. And for some reason we weren't working on Monday or Tuesday. Well, that's when there was a fire at the building. So we had, because I even had a hard time finding a place to put the trailer. But I'm sorry, it's been so fucking long ago, and with the strokes, I might have made a couple mistakes already, and if I did, I really apologize. So, but I knew I was going to have, if I got home on early Saturday morning, I was going to have at least 4, maybe even 5 days off, okay? And I knew my fiance was having complications. And so I got on the bike, I fly to Milwaukee. Now remind you, I'm fucking exhausted. I've been in prison for, let's just say 4 years, okay? I've only been sober maybe about 6 months. I've been off the coke for about the same amount of time. The first time, and then so I had a chip on my shoulder. I had more money than God, because even though I was driving truck, I was still partners with my brother at the time in the home improvement business. So I was making a lot of money. I was making good money. And even running local, I pushed so damn hard, and I was running 3 logbooks. And back then, even though I didn't do coke when I was driving truck, when I was in the truck, when I was home, I probably did. But when I was in the truck, I didn't do coke. But I didn't need much sleep back then. I did when I was done, but I could stay up for 3-4 days. Even now, today, there's back in 18. My wife and I, bought a cabin. I was up for 9 days straight, waiting to close on this damn cabin, because it just seemed like there was a lot of problems. And I will get her on the camera, or at least her voice, so you can hear her say it, that I was up for 9 days straight. But anyways, I go running into the hospital. Now remind you, her doctor has been a doctor for, probably, I think he said 42 years. Well, my fiance lost the baby anyways. And I actually thought it was the doctor's fault, but I got another doctor to look at it. And, you can't get a doctor to backtalk a doctor at gunpoint, but, because she had the problem basically from the 4th month, or 3rd month, And every time she went in to see him, the doctor would always remind her that there was only like a 12% chance she was going to go full term. But, excuse me. You know, but I came running in there, and I was so upset that I even made the doctor nervous of 38 years. Well, you figure, I was driving, just say I was driving since I was 18, okay? But technically I was driving local, and I started off as a straight truck at 16. 18 I was running local, or through the state. 21 I started going over the road, and this was with cab overs, okay? Whole different breed. But regardless, okay? So let's just go from 18 from 18 from 18 years old to 50 years old. That's 32 years of experience, okay? But I came in yelling, screaming, wearing my biker jacket, because I was on my bike, my bandana, and normally it was a nice day. I wouldn't have normally wore my jacket, but I had it in my saddlebags, or on the back, whatever, and I knew I was going to be riding fast, so I put my jacket on. So I come in, and I'm all nervous, upset, I'm screaming, yelling. I even made a doctor of 38 or 42, he had a lot of years of experience, even nervous. So this punk at this company, or the old man, or anybody else there thinks you can't make somebody with my experience or more nervous, fuck you. And I'm looking you right in the camera. More than you ever fucking did to me. And you're so goddamn so experienced, but you didn't even know what the fuck a goddamn trolley brake was? So I want to get that straightened out. So, and another thing I'm going to do to cram it down this faggot's throat is, for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to tell you some stories of what happened to me on the road. And I want you old timers, especially you drivers that drove back in the late 80s, or even the early, the late 70s, whatever, back when trucking was fun, because trucking isn't fun anymore. Okay? I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we'd go past Peterbilt on 94 there by Waukesha. You go by there, we'd go by there on Friday, and then on Sunday. Well, Friday and Sunday would be the same truck, but we'd go out past there every 2 weeks. The highlight of that trip to go from Milwaukee to Watertown or back was to see what truck they had out in front, because those cab overs were cool looking trucks, sharp looking trucks. They had class, they had style, they had different colors, like my dad had a 2 or 3 tone blue. And at the time when he got that truck driving for Sealy, and a lot of you old timers might remember my dad, Sleepy, there was only 2 KWs. They had that 2-tone blue or 3-tone blue. Okay, my dad was on the road back when that guy from Milwaukee, what was his handle? The Gay Alvarado or El Sombrado or something like that. But regardless, okay, but I want you old timers to listen to my stories from back when I first started going over the road. You tell me if I have the experience or not. About how we used to be able to shift the load off of our either our steers, drives, or tandems by hitting the trolley brake. Because if you hit the trolley brake, the trailer lights didn't go off. You know, wouldn't light up. Okay? Or if they had the double scales going, if you were good and they were busy, you could actually sneak by if you rolled at the same time as another truck. Okay? There was another guy I used to listen to on here. I wish I could remember his name. He's out of Canada. Listen to some of his stories too. Or you can, if you want, leave a comment on him and ask him if I'm lying about the shit we used to pull. Okay, but other than that, shit. Hold on, I gotta find the other clipboard. Okay, sorry about that, I found it. Here's another one. Give me a second, I'll think of her name. I'll try to remember her. I just wrote this one out too, but I forgot to write it. I thought I put her name on her username, but no, it's not on there either. Alright, I got an email through my VW account. From a young lady, a woman who is out of Pennsylvania. She heard me say about me being a Christian from time to time, and she said, how can I be a Christian and still smoke and swear? Well, that's a good question, and I think I covered the smoking one before, but I'll be more than happy to do it again. I would love to quit smoking. I really would. But there's two reasons why I will not quit. One is because the government's trying to, and all you non-smokers are trying to take it away from me. Okay? You guys all come down on us smokers or me, my smoking, but nobody's enforcing the fucking drunk driving laws. Okay? I don't know if that's a good reason not to quit or to keep smoking or not. But the second reason is the one that scares me. I've had a few family members, and I've known a lot of people in the last, going back to the 80s, who actually quit smoking, okay? And within a year to 18 months, year or two of quitting, they were diagnosed with cancer. Within a year or two of the diagnosis, they were dead. And the reason it scares me is I remember, and I know a lot of you probably might have heard this, but if you watched my other uploads, but and sorry, but I want to answer this lady's question. Back in the 80s, if you had an ulcer or gallbladder or some kind of surgery, people, you know, shortly after they had the surgery and healed, within a year or two, they'd be diagnosed with cancer. And they were starting to talk about that when the doctors were opening up and the oxygen was hitting it, because the cancer was already there, but once the oxygen hit it, it activated it or whatever, okay? And I remember they did a lot of studies. There was a big talk, I would say from about 85, 86 to like 91 maybe. 20 years, I've known, or even from the 80s, people quitting. And within 2 years, 4 years of quitting, they're gone from cancer. Well, my common sense tells me you quit smoking, oxygen's getting in there, so the cancer that you already had is being woken up from the oxygen. Okay, so, and I enjoy my smoking, I really do. And I've asked God many times, even years ago, when I first started my relationship with Jesus, I said, if you want me to quit, take it away, take that urge away from me. And I know He can do it because back in the 90s, late mid-90s, I was out on parole. I think it was my second last parole. I was doing home improvement. I was on my way home, and somebody cut me off, and I used God's name in vain. I said, GD, you fucking prick. And I remember feeling bad about him. And I mean, I had to lock up the brakes. I almost hit a parked car. I almost hit somebody coming out between two parked cars. It was pretty ugly. And I didn't even have a driver's license. And that's another thing about driving truck. Back in the 80s, when I was driving, I outlawed for like 1.5 to 2 years, which means that I did not have a CDL or a chauffeur's or a CDL. Hell, I didn't even have a driver's license, and I was still out there driving truck. Okay? I may get in trouble for this, but wouldn't be the first time I get in trouble for telling the truth. So, but anyways, and I felt bad about saying that. And I don't know why it hit me, and I said to Jesus, I said, if you don't want me using that, your name or the Father's name in vain, take it away from me. I didn't use it. I didn't even think about using it. It bothered me when I heard other people use it. Up to probably about 7 years ago. 5-7 years ago, okay? So if He can do that, He could have taken the smoking away from me. I enjoy it, okay? I already quit drinking alcohol. I already quit drugs. Okay, only thing I'm on now is my caffeine and my nicotine. Well, nicotine is starting to become illegal, but the caffeine is still legal, okay? I enjoy it. So I figure I'm going to die of cancer anyways. I might as well be not miserable, because if I quit smoking, I'd be miserable. And actually, I know a lot of people are going to say this is a cop-out. It's my story. Tell it any way I want. Well, I will. When I smoke, I'll get my wife at least her voice on here to tell you it's the truth. I smoke for the people around me, because if I quit smoking, I will kill somebody. And I'm not talking hypothetically. I'll put a gun in their ear. I'll slit their throat. I'll snap their neck. This is even worse than heroin. And trust me, I've never done heroin. I think I did heroin one time just to try it. But I had a relationship with a heroin medication, OxyContin. Go back on one of my other uploads, you'll hear about that one. I think it was about 3 uploads ago. But regardless, okay? I'm even on the Suboxone program. I've been on it for like 7 years, 8 years now. Okay? And I know there's a cop out, but the Bible says, and I don't normally push my religion, my faith on anybody. I'll talk faith or politics to anybody that wants to, but I won't push it on anybody. When I first got my relationship, started a relationship with Jesus, my own mother, who didn't have a mother, I had a drunken nanny, okay? And I don't give a shit who gets pissed off in my family about it. I'm telling the fucking truth here. She said, I don't believe you're really into your faith, because most people that are Pentecostal and all that, preach it. I don't preach it. Because us Christians don't believe in pushing our religion onto anybody. And we don't criticize anybody for their beliefs, okay? But if God wants me to quit smoking, He'll take this urge away from me. And the Bible says, challenge me. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not afraid to die. I've covered that in one of my uploads too. I'm not afraid to die. I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid of it. Okay? Really, no Christian isn't. The highest reward is to go to heaven. Okay? And there I have, my beliefs are a little bit different too. And I hope Michael Francisi sees this. And I'm not trying to criticize him or say he's wrong. I respect his belief, and I know he'll respect mine. I respect him as my brother. I respect him as a human being. But most of all, I respect him as being a man. Okay? I'll tell you what, there isn't too many people. I could probably count on one hand on all the people I respect as men. And I'll tell you what, he's not only the one of them on this hand. He's the first one. Because him and I kind of walked the same life, had the same path in life. But anybody that went through what he did and is willing to work with kids and will tell a detention center, if you don't have a program for them when they get out, he won't even talk to them. To try to, and that's not to be mean, it's to try to get prison reform in. The guy's brilliant. He really is. But to get back to what I was saying, Christians believe there's a heaven. I know there's a heaven. Okay? I know that. I trust that in my relationship with the Lord. Because I don't even pray. I talk to Him like I'm talking to you. Okay? But I don't believe there's hell. I believe hell is here on earth. And now I'm going to kind of mix two different faiths and the Pentecostal and the Catholic, okay? Catholics believe you have to go through, what the hell is that called? Purgatory. Okay, well, if you read King James like I do, it does kind of talk about that. I believe that's, life, here on earth, okay? And another reason why I don't believe there's a hell, because I don't believe God needs a hell. Okay? Because if you go to Him with open heart, true heart, and lay your sins at Jesus' feet, you are forgiving. And our God is a forgiving God and a loving God. And we're His children. So why would He condemn us to hell? Okay? That's another one that were, like my last upload. There's a couple things Michael and I kind of see different, but the ground root is the same. Okay? And he may call me a dumbass for saying this, but this is what I believe. And this is what I've gotten from my Bible. I've been locked up too. I've read my Bible from cover to cover many times. Only problem is I can't. I don't have it memorized like a lot of them do. get back to what I was talking about. For the next couple weeks, whatever, or a few uploads, I'm going to tell, I guess, different stories. It's going to be kind of all mixed up. It might be my common sense topics. It might be my opinion, like I was telling you. It might be truck driving stories. Because I'm really trying to get this channel to grow. And last time I looked, which was this morning, I was still at 23 subscribers. So I'm just throwing something up against the wall to see what sticks, what interests you people, until I can find somebody to help me with this, because I do want to start another channel, and that one I think will get off the ground. That one I think a lot of people will be interested in. I just don't want to say what it is until I'm ready to put it out there. So, and then this lady also asked, why do I swear? I guess the easy answer is bad habit. The complicated answer is, and maybe a lot of you are going to beat me up with saying it's an excuse. When I talk, I don't know if you guys, you viewers can tell, but I'm compassionate. And I want to make my point. And I try to tell the truth, and I try to tell the way it is. I try to be a straight shooter. I do not try to sugarcoat. And I guess to make my point, I feel I have to swear. But I come from a family of swears, though, too, you know. And like I said, it's habit. Let's just go with the lame, you know, the simple answer. And to answer one other reason why I don't want to quit smoking till Jesus takes it away from me. I really enjoy it. I really do. You know, and I'm going to end up with cancer anyways, because I'd say 80% of my family is basically passed away from cancer. And I'm not going to say this right, but I'll give it a shot. That mesothelioma or whatever. What are the three causes? Going into mills, grain yards, home improvement, and automotive. I've done all three most of my life. You know, I've been around asbestos. We used to put siding over that old slate siding that's nothing but asbestos, okay? So, you know, I've done so much partying in my life that I probably shaved 30 years off of my life anyway, so I guess it's a race on what's going to kill me. But that's my story for this upload. Sorry it wasn't more interesting, but please, if you feel you want to leave a comment, you want to call me a prick, you want to call me a sellout, whatever, capo, leave it down below, or contact me at hippie.38@hotmail.com, or whatever it's called now. I forgot to look again. Or you can, yeah, well, Hotmail still works on it though. Or you can contact me down below, or you can contact me at my Facebook account at hippie38. You have to spell the 38 out. Do not use the numbers. Or again at Vegas World, go and sign up and look up user 1967 GTO. go and check out Michael Francis, Larry Lawton, Omar Gosh, Wacky Witch, Sean Atwood. I'm starting to get into his uploads. And I hope none of these people are mad that I'm plugging them. But I only spend my time on people I respect. If I didn't respect these people, I wouldn't do it. So I'm gonna call it quits there. We're at like 56 minutes and 17 seconds now. I should have another upload in another day, within the next 24 to 72 hours. 12 to 72 hours, maybe. But please, leave a contact below. If you hit like this, don't do either one. Hit the subscribe, and please hit the notification so I can bug the hell out of you. No, hit the notification so you can keep up with this. I think a lot of you guys are gonna, or people, I don't want to offend anybody, we'll get into some of these old time truck driving stories, because these new ones, and I'll even tell you, I'll get into more why I enjoyed driving truck years ago compared to now. It's just not fun, but I'll break it down for you guys more. So till I see you again, be good, be safe,